For almost 3 years now, I've been out gallivanting around, riding the best trails in the world and bringing you guys along with me through the use of this magic of technology, the gimbal and the GoPro Hero 4 Black. This little gadget allows me to capture a ride almost as if you were there right with me. I'm talking, I'm joking, I'm riding, I'm crashing. Everything in a ride is captured because of this device. And honestly, even though I've been using the same setup for almost 3 years now, I have very, very few complaints. The audio is crisp, the video looks great. What's not to love? It's something that works and something I don't want to mess with that much. So 3 years is a mighty long time to be using the same technology. Things have evolved and I feel like maybe I'm starting to finally get left behind. Except for my setup was working so good for so long until now. So over the past month or so, I keep buying new gimbals and they keep failing me. And not straight up failing, but they keep making too much noise. And noise is the enemy when I'm out on a ride. I need my gimbal to be silent so I can talk and capture the tires. So gimbal after gimbal after gimbal after gimbal, and I'm finally sick and tired of messing with these gimbals and I want to move on to something different. If you saw my last video, my first try at something different was using the Hero7 Black with the Feiyutech WG2X gimbal, which these buttons, they're too easy to hit these buttons. It turns on, it turns off. I just turned it on accident, just by doing that, just trying to show it off to you guys. The video quality was fantastic on the ride I went on. The gimbal quality, I think it was still a little jittery. I think it wasn't quite what I wanted. The audio quality was decent.
Woo, frosty.
I was very afraid that the GoPro Hero 7 Black was going to be terrible audio quality because it's waterproof. When you waterproof a microphone, it just doesn't sound as good as a naked microphone. So I think this would be a good backup gimbal, but it's still not ready to be the real deal workhorse machine. So that brings us to where we are today, with the Hero 7 Black, the Karma Grip, and the Karma Grip extension cable. A modern monstrosity. I'm gonna be testing this thing out for the first time today on a ride. Hey, what? It just changed? It just changed to a different thing? What? So, I'm gonna go take this out on a ride and take this? Whenever I keep saying take this, I'm gonna go take this. Is that, it keeps thinking it wants to, So I'm gonna go for a ride with this bad boy today and see how it works, see how it feels, see how the picture looks, see how the sound sounds, see if this whole thing is way too much for me to handle. And you guys are gonna find out as soon as I do if it's a worthy successor to the Hero 4 Black and the gimbal. So before we go out on the trail, I'm gonna show you guys how I mount this to my chest and how I'll put it away in my bag, and we'll see if that's even gonna work right. So just for a quick reference, here's how I mount up my other gimbals. This is the Hero 4 Black with the Evo SS mounted up to the Stuntman chest mount. This is the Hero 7 Black with the Feiyutech WG2X mounted up to the Stuntman chest mount. And this is how I'm going to mount up the Hero 7 Black with the Karma Grip. Okay, let's put this thing on for the first time. I actually added a little bit of fiber grip here to this little thing because it was flopping back and forth a little too much. I'm hoping that will get it to stick. Booting up, beep boop bop. This is kind of sort of how it's gonna be. I need to make sure all these little things are tight because look at that, that is not tight enough. I gotta figure out how this cable is actually gonna go into the bag. I feel like it has to go over the top. There's no room for that. If it goes in the side, where does it go? There's a lot of things to figure out here. So let's say I'm riding with my most common backpack, the Evox Stage 12. Where is this gonna go? This little pocket seems pretty nice, but it also doesn't seem secure whatsoever. Here, that seems nice. Hey, that's not bad at all. But is there tuggage? We cannot have any tuggage. Gotta keep this nice and loose here. Karma Grip, turn on. Turn on the grip! It's in my bag, I can't do anything about it. So we haven't hit the trail yet, but I'm pleased at where this is going. We're gonna hit the trail soon, but I've got one more thing I need to talk about and experiment with. The absolute bane of my existence over the past few years has been batteries. Batteries in here, batteries in here. Every 45 minutes I have to switch the GoPro Hero 4 battery. Every 2.5 hours I have to switch the gimbal batteries. But the Karma Grip has the promise of something else, something magical. So this is a big old battery here. It charges up the camera and also runs the gimbal, but we have a USB port on the bottom. That could be quite magical. Can we hook a power bank up to this thing and charge it while I'm riding? Oh, do you see a tear in my eye right now? To the idea, the promise of never switching a battery, just going out for a long ride and having it all be self-sustaining and just telling the GoPro to turn on, turn off, and record, stop recording. Is it possible? Ooh, this is kind of dangerous, having this floating around in the bottom of the bag. There we have it. It's plugged in, it's going, and look at that. We've got blinking lights, and we've booted up without hitting anything. This has done this quite a few times now. The Karma Grip has like kind of turned itself on, or the GoPro has turned itself on, and maybe I'm saying things like, maybe I'm hitting key phrases, but GoPro turn off. You dumb son of a... So it looks like we've got charge, and if this is actually working, this is quite a watershed moment in my professional life. I just found this little cardboard tube in the trash, and this might be the perfect little thing to protect the bottom of the cable. Okay, I cut a corner of the yellow rag off. I stuffed it in here, and now the Karma Grip won't go down any further, which means the cable is protected in the bottom. Oh, that's a bike hack to love. Enough, enough! We need to get the bike down, put the pedals on. I need to get dressed and go. I need to go on this ride.
This is Fernandez Ranch. I've never been out here. I've been hearing about it, and I've never been, so I've got trail forks in my pocket to be my guide.
This is not good. We're like 6 seconds in, and it sounds horrible.
It's been a while since I've been on my bike. Did you miss me? Oh, I hope this camera setup works so badly. I don't want to feel like I just spent 400 something? Yeah, 400 plus for no wait, 400 is just the Karma Grip and the cable, and then what, another 400 for the camera? So this is gonna be an expensive faux pas if it doesn't quite work. So if this setup ends up working, it's the dream, because I could go do a 3-hour ride, a 3-hour race without ever touching the batteries. As long as that little power pack keeps the battery from getting too sucked dry, we'll see.
Okay, I have thoroughly established that the audio sucks. I don't like the sound of it. Something weird is happening. Listen to this next clip. It's like the first 5 seconds that the GoPro records, it's like sampling the environment, and then it turns on something that is not right at all.
Diabolical. No way.
That's not me messing with the audio at all, and that's straight from the camera. So let me remind you, in the last video, the Hero7, it sounded fantastic compared to this. It was quite amazing. Look at this clip.
Man, how beautiful was that? If that didn't capture the way I saw it, I'm gonna be disappointed, because that was just so cool.
So it's very obvious to me that I completely messed up, and I didn't update the firmware on the camera that I used on this test, and I didn't keep the settings exactly the same. Oh no, I can't believe how different it is. I'm so disappointed. But did you notice that the video in that last clip was actually a little shaky? So let's get back to the ride and I'll show you some more.
Oh, so much cow diarrhea.
Yeah, my sentiments exactly. So that clip was a lot more rough than it looked. You could kind of hear my bike, even though the audio sucks. You could kind of hear my bike rattling around, and it was one of those trails that I think we all hate the most, where it's just those small chattery bumps. There's something about that just the bike can never really get on, and you're always kind of getting rattled out of your bones, even on a plush full suspension. So I think the Karma Grip did an excellent job smoothing that out and gimbalizing and roboticizing everything to make it so smooth.
Oh no. This looks like it's recording vertical video right now because the thing is over to the side. That's no good. I wonder if I was in like kind of an awkward position when I told it to start recording again. Just because it's a vertical video doesn't mean it should lose any resolution. I should just be able to flip it 90 degrees to the right and be good to go.
And that's exactly what I did. I just flipped the thing in Final Cut Pro. This is the video laying under it right now. It looks perfectly fine. It's full resolution. Just a very odd thing to happen. I hope it doesn't ever happen again, but I'm sure it will.
Also kind of weird, the screen is still on the back of the GoPro, which most of the time it turns off after maybe 30 seconds or so. Draining my batteries.
So speaking of battery, this was a 2-hour ride, and by the end of it, I had only lost 1 dot of the 4 dots on the Karma Grip battery light indicator. So I'm assuming I only used 25% battery in 2 hours of keeping the gimbal on the entire time, turning off and on the GoPro intermittently, but that is a huge win. You know, it possibly means that I could have this thing going for 8 hours and be good to go. So I think that means the battery pack was being used. When I looked at the indicator lights on the battery pack, like, you know, the levels, there was no dots gone from the battery pack. So it used very little battery. Maybe I could even get a smaller battery pack if it's not going to use that much. Maybe it's just kind of gently supplementing the Karma Grip, and I don't need to have a really big heavy duty one. More testing needed for that. So speaking of more testing, I've upgraded the firmware on the GoPro. I've made the settings to have no audio processing, and I'm gonna get back out on the bike tomorrow and show you guys what the heck I found. Come on, this has gotta work. It's gotta work. I don't think, please, please, we're so close.
Okay, here we go. I'm booted up. Got a hell of a wind going, which is okay, you know, we're gonna have windy days. Not every day is gonna be perfect. Venetian Territory downhill, my favorite little test track. Woo, running fast.
So these are just more tests, and I have the little information in the bottom left of what settings I used, but over and over and over, it was just garbage.
Okay, second run of the day. Audio processing, off, completely off. Let's see what we got. Oh, the grass is slippery. Yes.
Garbage part 2.
Okay, this is medium. A little slower.
And a third serving of garbage. Those past tests were done on the stereo mode with the microphone, so I went back up and I went into wind mode, and it's not much better.
I'm trying to find spots in this trail that I can pedal, but really it's just setting up for the next turn. There's not many spots to get power, but you gotta go slow through these turns. Yeah, so fun! Oh, overshot it big time into the wet grass. Okay. I just wanted to get in just enough before it started raining. Wow, that's fun.
So sadly, that was the last test run I could get in before the rain came, and now the rain has been coming down day after day. So in order to actually get this video out on time, I have to cut off the tests. But there's so many tests to do. There's so many questions left unanswered. So is this the ultimate MTB POV setup? No! And it pains me so much because it is so close to being perfect. It is so close to being the ultimate setup. The audio, if the audio was just as good as it was in that other gimbal I used earlier on in the video, I would pretty much be satisfied. I would be ready to buy all in and say, yes, this is it. The audio's not that great, but it's fine. But the audio's just terrible. It's terrible. It's killing me. It is killing me. I empathize with the audio engineers at GoPro. There's probably a whole group of people that went through college and love this stuff and are trying so hard to get the audio good. But time and time again, like the GoPro's just like, oh no, we gotta make it waterproof. Oh no, it's gotta be this form factor. And these audio engineers are just doing their best, just dying every day. Like but honestly, it's like the hardest problem you could possibly solve in audio engineering. Probably not, but it's a very tough problem. I feel bad for them and for people like us to just rag on the audio constantly. It sucks, but the Hero 4, it was fine. I am not ready to give up on this at all. I'm gonna keep digging and keep trying to answer some questions. So here's the unanswered questions we have so far. What about an external audio source? External microphone. It's the biggest pain in the butt. It turns a ride into a video production. I love just being able to turn on, turn off my camera, not have to worry about syncing audio. But if everything else is so good, maybe the external microphone is what I have to sacrifice. Another question that needs to be answered. What about just using the Hero 4 in the Karma Grip? This is a special little case that will allow you to use the Hero 4 on the Karma Grip. Is the sound going to be just as good? Is the video good enough? It will charge it back up. That is all I want, right? And the last question, of course, is what about just using the Hero 7 without the gimbal, with the image stabilization turned on, the software stuff? And I should try that. Just for good due diligence, I will try it. And I already have my mindset against it though, because I just love the look and the feel of the gimbal. It's not as good as the gimbal. I've watched many videos, but I'll test it. I'll make sure I hate it before I decide on it. I hate this. I hate ending this video. I have to go to New Zealand here like very soon, and I'm caught between, do I just order 2 brand new gimbals? Was it because they were refurbished that they sound like crap? All 6 of my gimbals sound like crap. I've got this situation that isn't working out whatsoever. My back is up against the wall. But I'll keep working. I'm gonna make this happen. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you on the trail.